What is up, guys? Winter Kills here. Welcome back to a brand new deck profile, an updated deck profile. Yes, an updated deck profile once again for the Atlantean Mermails here in March of 2019. All the way from its early beginnings in 2012 or 2013, all the way up now to 2019. This deck is still making amazing plays. Now, I put tons and tons of hours into testing this deck, as I always do. And in fact, the stream I did last night on my Twitch, we did like a five and a half hour stream, and I made it a goal to play only against meta. We played against Salmon Great, we played against Thunder Dragon, Sky Striker, we played against Pendulums, we played against the Endymion stuff, and we fared very, very well against a lot of those decks. I remember beating Salmon Great a couple times. We beat the Endymion deck. Had some really close matches with some other decks too, and yeah, I recommend checking out my last stream so you can see basically how this deck did against a lot of those other decks. Very, very strong, and this deck also isn't playing any of the Orcus stuff or the Phantom Knight stuff because it's not needed in here. I like playing the deck more of a pure play style. It just flows better, and gives you more access to play, you know, Mermail stuff, not just you know, Orcus and Phantom Knight with like a splash of Atlanteans, and then people call it a Mermail deck, which just isn't true. So yeah, this is a Mermail deck, probably one of the only pure Mermail decks you'll find, and it definitely still packs a punch 100%. I can guarantee you that. And also, guys, real quick shout out to our sponsor over at Imperium Duels for providing some amazing sleeves and playmats, things of that nature. You already know we're using the Tour Guide playmat here, and it's got Beat Cop of the Underworld, Tour Guide on this side and Beat Cop on the other side. If you want to pick up this cloth mat, feel free to check them out down in the description below, and you can use that discount code to get 10% off if you'd like to do so. Heard saving money was pretty cool. So without further ado, we'll go ahead and get into the profile, and to start, we have none other than the king himself, Mermail, Abyss, Megalo. Still playing 3 of these. However, I did speculate dropping him down to 2 for a copy of Gund. Playing a second copy of Gund, I was anticipating, but I tried to not cut this card down to 2 because there's so many times, and I remember I've had games where I go to search for that third Megalo that I need late game, or whatever, just to make a play happen, and then it's not there, and then you're just in a really bad spot. So 3 Megalo is always going to be a must for me for the most part. I know things might change with time, as they always do. So for now, 3, and then 3 of the Mermail Abyss Teus. Yes, I did rarity bump this deck a lot, actually. Teus, triple Teus is still the way to go, 100% without a doubt. No real explanation needed. 1 Pike, 1 Mander, 1 Osea, and 1 Gund. Now, we'll go ahead and talk about this ratio here. The Pike I wanted mainly because I wanted an additional normal summon to take off the reliance that I've had on Prince and on Diva to make a lot of my plays happen. Pike is a good starter for any discard outlets if you have a Dragoons and you know, so no other discards, but you haven't opened that one of Pike. You can sort of be your saving grace. Adds an Undying for next turn, which is a great search target off this card, which I really do like. The Mander has come up so many times. It's basically your go-to when you have to go first. I find myself a lot of times ending on VFD, Moulin, and Toad going first, or Gaios and Moulin, or just, you know, Gaios and Toad and you know, Saryuja. Like, this card just lets you have a solid going first plan, which is what I wanted. I didn't want to just rely on Mr. Starboy Moulin as my only going first play, so I definitely wanted this to be in the main deck. And obviously, since I'm playing Osea, it makes a lot more sense. Now, I did want to play a second Gun, and I'm still considering playing a second one because I have this extra Italian copy that someone in my Discord hooked me up with. So shout outs to you. I think his name is Yui in the Discord. Much appreciated for helping me get these Italian guns. Appreciate that. But a reason I wanted to play the second Gun was because I wanted to have multiple targets for OC. I didn't really want this card to be dead too many times, but I also wanted to try to play a 40 card build. So that's why I'm only playing the one Gun. Like I said, you could just bump it up to 41 and throw in the second Gun. It probably wouldn't be too big of a deal. because reviving other things off Gund is cool, like Pike or Osea or Mander, just to make rank 4 plays. And obviously Mander helps with the rank 4 play as well, because you can use Osea to summon out Mander and Gund, and then you can link away the Mander and the Teus, and then you can make him a Star Boy, and then you can use this to bump these guys up to a level 4, and then you can go into a Dweller or a number 37 Hope Woven, or you can just, you know, use the standard play to go up to a VFD, or True King of All Calamities, if you will. So I do like this ratio a lot. I think I'll keep playing it going forward. Like I said, the only thing I'm going to consider changing with this is possibly adding in that second gun. But right now, I think with like the 5 hours of testing we did last night, playing just the one gun was alright. But like this Osea card, I never really liked it for the longest time, but I decided to start playing it again because I found some inspiration in just playing it. And the turns where you don't like see Dragoons, but you still see Teus, like grabbing this card off of that and then being able to like send this away and summon out 2 other cards does a whole lot for you. It's able to like get you into, you know, a rank 4, a link 2, helps you go into Saryuja. Like this card just makes your worst plays better when you see Teus without any optimal discards. Like this card is really nice, and I really like it. So that's it for the Mermails. Now we will go into the Atlantean lineup here, which, as you might have guessed, we're starting with the triple Prince. Really can't have it any other way. So triple Neptibus, still the standard. 3 Atlantean Dragoons, of course. Got to play the Dragoons. Got to show love to the Goons. 2 heavy infantry, and 3 marksmen, or not 3 marksmen. Not 3 marksmen, definitely not 1 marksman. I've definitely thought about bumping up to 2 copies of infantry, because using this card with Coral Dragon and Bryonic is just devastating. Like I had the one game where I discarded double infantry off of a Coral Dragon, and I'm able to destroy 3 cards. I get the 1 off Coral and then the 2 off of the double infantry. Or if you're using Bryonic, you can discard these, bounce 2 cards, and then destroy 2 more. Like, it just helps for board wipes, especially with those really powerful level 6 synchros we're playing, like Coral Dragon and Bryonic. But I just couldn't give up the utility that Marksman offers. Also, it just looks amazing. I just like having this card as an option, either to send off the Undyne here, or, you know, just to hit a set card to start my play. Hitting back row is always nice, and having a designated card to do just that is really helpful, because sometimes that one back row could cost you if you don't clear it, you know, before you dig too deep into your plays. So that's it for the Atlanteans. Now we'll go into the Undyne engine here. Yes, the beautiful looking Undynes. The main reason why I jumped ship to the Undyne engine, of course, we do have the Gen X controller to go along with it as well. The reason why I jumped ship to the Undyne engine was mainly because I've tried the Nimble engine so many times, and it just always disappoints me in the fact that very rarely, unless you're just extremely lucky, then you're very rarely being able to resolve a full angler, because I always find myself opening that copy of either Sunfish or Beaver, and it just ruins the overall play, and it just makes your bad hands worse. So I wanted to play a different engine that had more value with a normal summon, that had more value as a follow-up play, because obviously you can search this off a Pike, and then this gives you a nice solid normal summon next turn. Either send a Prince to revive Dragoons out of grave, or an infantry to set something up, or you can just send a Fishborg Launcher, which is a really cool play, especially with this card in Aqua Spirit. It's like a 2-card Raigeki during your opponent's turn, and we'll talk about that later. A little cool combo I figured out. It's probably not new, but it's just something that's new to me, I guess. But Undyne, like I said, it's the closest you can get to playing a 5th, 6th, and 7th copy, or 4th, 5th, and 6th copy of Prince in the main deck, because a lot of the times you won't see Prince, but in your hand you'll have like a Dragoons, you'll have an infantry, you'll have all this stuff, but you won't have a way to get to your Megalo to really kickstart your plays. So that's where this comes in. And obviously, if they negate it, you just don't add the controller. So it's pretty safe most of the times from getting negated by certain things, because you'll still get your Dragoons to the grave. You'll add that Megalo. You'll add that Lapis Dragon to make White or a Whale or whatever you need to do, just to put on damage. And like this engine, I've loved it so far. I think I'm going to keep playing it. The one controller it's a love-hate. Obviously, like, you're gonna get that with any Garnet. Any Garnet card, you're gonna draw into it sometimes, and there's always a curse with every Garnet, whether it's the actual Garnet, whether it's this, or it's not Lapis Dragon, or Mermail. Like, you're always gonna have that issue. It's just gonna be in your hands sometimes, and there's really not a whole lot you can do about it. I guess just the good outweighs the bad, I guess. So yeah, that's the Undyne engine. And then one engine you guys may have noticed that isn't in here. Well, we'll get to that in a second. We'll move on to the next engine, which is the good old Swap Frog engine. Yes, the Rana Scambio, with, of course, the one of Ronan Toden. Now, this engine, I like a lot more. Like, I've just increasingly grown to enjoy this engine more and more every time I resolve it. Every time I get a swap to hand, or I open swap and Ronan, or I open double swap, it just allows you to bait out more negations, because a lot of times if you don't have Prince or any way to get to Prince in your hand, you can start with this as a normal summon. You send Ronan, bounce it back, you could discard something else, or like discard a gun and then discard a Megalo and then discard a gun, and you get the Megalo on board. It's a level 2, so you can use a tinker with like Lapis Dragon into like a Quantum. Really strong. And a lot of times I'll find myself making a Toad at the start of my turn before I even go to normal summon my Prince or a Diva, just to protect it from Ash. And then I get to add back a Dragoons mid-combo later if they don't have a negation, because you can just link the Toad away and anything else to make him a Starboy, and then you add back a Dragoons you've already used, and you can resolve Dragoons a 4th time that turn, which is a lot of times enough to really just put your first turn play from good to even better, or you're going second plays to make them even better. It's just a great engine all around. Minimally, when you see it, it's totally awesome, which isn't terrible the last time I checked. Just a free negation that helps recycle a card in your grave. And in better situations, it turns like going first boards of VFD with VFD Toad, or I've had turns with like Dweller VFD Toad. It's just a solid engine, and I really like it. I'm definitely going to keep playing it going forward. Now we will go into some other cards here. I've cut the Destrudo engine because, like I said in the test stand video that I did, I just got tired of drawing the Mermail more so than I ever did with the controller, because you could control, really, for the most part, when you know when you're going to get the controller to your hand. So like, if you open up Undyne and Sekka's Light, and no other good normal summon, you can normal summon Undyne, send Dragoons, add Megalo, add controller, and then you can Sekka's Light, draw 2 more, and then you can put back that controller and be pretty much safe, 99% safe from drawing it again, because you can set up your Sekka's Light play so much better. As with Mermail, you never really know when you're going to get Mermail to your hand. You can't add Mermail to your hand from your deck, so it's just a little more controlled with Undyne. And I was just getting diminishing returns with the Destrudo, because I found myself not needing it anymore to really rely on synchro plays, so that's why I just sort of decided to cut it. So 1 Wooling Glacia, still standard in here. Then 3 Gamma Seal. I was playing this card at 2, but basically after locals the other day and all the testing we did the other night, 3 of this card is like pretty much mandatory. Like, you need this card going second. It's so good. And even you open up 2, you give this to them, and then you have a free 2200 beater on your field to do whatever you want with, put more damage on or link away. It's just really solid. You need this card. It can turn off Sky Striker boards. It can turn off Salamangreat boards if they don't open up well enough to be able to put 2 link monsters on their field. It helps against Thunder Dragon greatly, which I think is this deck's hardest matchup, period. Just because Colossus is such a pain to deal with, and this helps in that manner. So I do really like the triple Gamma Seal, and I think I'll keep playing it going forward. So we have 2 Aqua Spirit now. Aqua Spirit, I love this card more and more every time I draw it. It helps to create really good plays with Undyne, like I said. Playing one of the two cards in the extra deck, this card really helps interact with. Helps make rank 4s, which is really important. Helps make Coral Dragon with Diva. It just does a lot. It helps to make link monsters, puts on more damage. It can stall for time too by turning one of your opponent's monsters to defense in their standby phase, and they cannot change the position of it either. I had somebody like, I went to turn one of his monsters to defense because I was in kind of a bad spot, and he like went to turn it back. I'm like, no, you can't. It has to stay in defense, and he wasn't able to kill me that turn because of that. So it bought me an extra turn, which in some cases can be game breaking. You could top deck that Diva, top deck that Prince or whatever, and then you're right back in the game just because your Aqua Spirit saved you. That's obviously a little hyperbole, but in most cases that can come in handy. I just love the double Aqua Spirit. I don't think I'd play 3. Maybe at some point in the future I'll want 3, but for now I think 2 is alright. Then we have 1 Lapis Dragon. We're getting into our tuners here. 1 Lapis Dragon, 1 Gen X Ally Birdman. I still love this card. It's so, like, this still busted with Diva. This card in Diva is just so busted. 1 Deep Sea Diva, of course. Gotta play the Deep Sea Diva still. And then 1 Fishborg Launcher. This is a card I used to play, took out for a while, now I'm back to playing it again. Just because it's a water, it can bring itself out of the grave for free. You don't gotta worry about using any other resources to bring it out of the grave. It just brings itself out. You can either synchro with it or you can link with it. The only restriction this card has, it says if you have monsters in your graveyard other than itself and all of them are water, you can special summon. So it does have the restriction where your whole graveyard needs to be water. And yes, that can conflict sometimes, but in most cases I've really never had it conflict to begin with. Very rarely, I should say. Because you either like see this card or you don't. There's really no way to 100% search it at the moment. Unless we're playing like Needle Fiber in the future with more of the white aura stuff. And you can only use it for the synchro summon of a water monster, which is okay because pretty much all of our synchros are water except for 1, and that's Quantum Dragon, which you can make with Lapis Dragon and Swap Frog or Infantry. So you don't really need to worry about that being an issue too much. So yeah, that's it for the monsters in the main deck. Now we'll go into the spells, which, yes, I am still playing the 3 copies of Sekka's Light. This card is so good. The other day I finally had an epiphany, sort of, realizing why Sekka's Light is just so much better in Mermail than playing other spells. Because Sekka's Light, in comparison to a build with spells, is the chance of spells bricking your hand gets so significantly lower because you're only playing 3 spells, and it forces you to have to play other water monsters, which helps you make worse hands better because sometimes you might open a Megalo and spells and you don't really have that much discard power. The Sekka's Light engine just allows you to force you, not really allow you, but force you to play more monsters, more engines to make more plays viable because you're not drawing into so many spells all the time. And the thing with this card is that the cards you draw off of this aren't going to be the cards that are in your hand already. So like the difference between this and Moray of Greed is like I could put back 3 cards or 2 cards off Moray, and then I could draw the same 2 cards I put back plus 1 new card. This card, I'm guaranteed pretty much 2 new cards because I'm not really putting anything back. And then you have the opportunity to recycle any card in your hand, whether it be, Birdman or Controller, because, Moray Agree would only restrict you to recycling waters. This can recycle any monster, period. So, I wouldn't consider Desires because Dragoons and Prince are too important to lose to a Desires in any way, shape, or form. Even banishing 1 or 2 Dragoons would just be enough to, lose you the game right then and there, so not really down with that. I think Sekka's Light is probably the superior way to go. Just like I said, it just forces you to have to play a certain playstyle that just fits Mermail so much better. Now we'll go into the extra deck, and yeah, this is going to be more of an in-depth profile because I've got so much to say about all the stuff that I've been working on in this deck. So yeah, extra deck, 1 Link Kuriboh. This is a constant, always has been. Just getting rid of Prince to go into this nice card that can prevent you from dying if you happen to open up slow or whatever is really solid. And you can tribute your Prince on field already if this is engraved to bring it back out to block more damage, which I've done in the past as well, and it has saved me. This also is really good because it can set up Moulin plays really easy by just getting that 1 extra water engrave if need be. So Link Kuriboh, really solid. I've loved this card always in here and never really wanted to take it out. Mistar Boy. This card, MVP. I love Mistar Boy. If we could play 16 cards in the extra deck, I'd probably play 2 of these, just because it comes up so much to be able to make Mistar Boy. The 500 attack boost is so relevant. Be able to boost your Megalo up to 29, and maybe with a Dweller up to 34. To add back a water, just ending on fields with just Mistar Boy Toad, you're getting 2 cards back off of that eventually, which is just really nice. If they kill this, you know, you're getting a card back. Otherwise, it forces them to have to go into something like Nightmare Unicorn to bounce it back to your extra deck, and then you can just make it again later. So it's essentially at that point like you're playing two. So I really do like the Star Boy. And now I'm playing one Saryuja. Why did I move to the Saryuja? Because I wanted one more link in the main deck, and I wanted something that would help fix my hands going first, and make my boards going second stronger, or to help organize and assemble better boards going second. Because it obviously has the effect to draw into 4, you put back 3. Sometimes that can dig you deeper into a Prince. It can boost up your monsters by 300 attack and defense. It has the opportunity just to special summon a monster from your hand, so it can just put a Megalo on board for extra damage. It just does a lot. I think 1's fine. I would never play 2 in here, unless you were playing like a Nimble Turbo build, then maybe. But I think 1's fine. It helps set up your fields going first and second. It can fix your hands. Like, I just wanted the most opportunities to be able to fix my hand. A with Second Light, B with this. Because you can use the Toad engine to help make this viable. The Osea engine, just standard Mermail plays with gun and things. Like, this card is pretty easy to go into, even without the Nimble engine. Like, I've never had trouble making this card in situations where I wanted to make it. Because I wasn't playing the Nimble engine. Like, it's just still pretty easy to make, even without it. So, you don't need the Nimble engine 100% to be able to make Saryuja. That's just not true. Then I'm playing one Christian Quandax. This is like my free spot still, because I was waiting on an Armory Arm and it hasn't showed up yet. It's like the original Ultra Rare one, by the way. I'm waiting for that to show up, and I still might play that because, like, you can make your Megalo 3,400 without any other, you know, buffers from like Star Boy or Dweller, and then attacking twice with that 3,400. Like, that's 6,800 damage off of one monster. Like, it's just so strong. Army Arm, very, very nice. But Quandax is nice as well because there's a little combo you can do later on, and I'll show that. Basically, you can go into this guy, and then you can synchro on your opponent's turn to make White or a Whale. It's super, super good. In theory, it's really nice. I've only pulled it off once or twice, maybe. But in theory, it is a solid, solid play if you don't really have much else to go off of. And I really, really like it. And I wanted to play a level 4 synchro in here for the longest time. I thought about playing Herald of the Arclight as a going first option, as a stun option, because that can be really good against like danger decks. I've also thought about playing Armory Arm. Tatsunoko I kind of wanted to move away from for certain reasons, but I kind of went to the Quandax. I knew that was another option I'd have as a level 4, but I wanted to experiment with it, and I do like it in theory a lot. And then for our level 6s, one Bryonic Dragon of the Ice Barrier, looking so darn good as a DT. Then one Coral Dragon. I wanted to play the double level 6s because they both have their uses. Some fields, this card's going to be a lot better going into, and sometimes you might have the opportunity to like synchro this into a Quantum, or you might be able to synchro this into a White or a Whale, or maybe into a Trish with like any other level 2 and a level 1. And then you get a draw off it. Sometimes you might want to spin fields. You might want to not destroy them. So these cards have their merits. They both have their different uses. And that's why I wanted to really have the option to play both of them. One Cyber's Quantum Dragon. This card actually won me a game the other day at locals because I was able to assemble a field of... I had Lapis Dragon and Swap on field, and I used Lapis and Swap to make this because he big-eyed my Moulin, and I didn't want to have to worry about killing the Moulin because I didn't have any way to get over it, really, and if I did, I would have to... yeah, I really had no way to get over it because I would have had to make him a Star Boy, and Star Boy boosts all waters, and then I can't get over it because it's at 33 and all my Megalos are at 29. I can't get over it, and then he just keeps that monster, which is kind of problematic because I can't do any damage to him, and I know for a fact I needed to kill him that turn, so I made Quantum. Quantum bounces it, Quantum swings for 25, and then I had 2 double attacking Megalos and a Teus. Like, that's just like 13,000 damage alone. Like, it's just such a really good card. Helps out tons of things that just need to be removed by returning them to the hand. White or a Whale. If you establish this card, it forces them to like go into just like a bore load to get rid of it. It also forces them to use Nightmare Unicorn when they could use it on so many other things. Like, they have to spin this, or else it's just going to keep coming back. If this dies, You banish a water in your grave, you summon it back out. It dies, you banish a water in your grave, you summon it back out. It's not once per turn. This thing just keeps coming back. It does piercing on defense monsters, obviously, and it can attack up to 2 monsters. So, like, you're just going for lots of damage with this card. I played against a Salmon Great player. I summoned this after I baited out the Balinks, the first one. The only Balinks he had with an infantry. He did that. I synchroed for this and made him a Starboy. He dropped the Gazelle, and he had a Gazelle and a Jaguar in defense, and they're both fire, obviously, so my Starboy is dropping their defense by 400. Pierce for like 27, Pierce for like 28, and then my Starboy swings for 19, and left him with like 900 damage. And I think if I would have played that turn a little differently, I would have been able to kill him with a Marksman, actually, but with this effect to summon out another monster. So White Arrow Whale, really, really good. Then we have Trishula, Dragon of the Ice Barrier. This isn't mine, actually. This is my brother's. I had to borrow it. I might get an alti one for myself, though I'm not entirely sure. So shout out to my brother for letting me borrow this for the profile. The Trish, it's a standard. You just gotta play the Trish. It's such a powerful card. You can go into it so much easier with just like Prince, and like if you open like Prince and Launcher, you can make Trish, because you just go Prince, send Dragoons, add Dragoons Megalo, and then Megalo, ditch Dragoons and the Launcher, add a card, then summon out Launcher, then Synchro, and there's your Trish. And then if you have any other cards, you can set up a Moulin play as well. So 2-card Trish with just Launcher and Prince. Now we'll go into the Xyz. One totally boy, one totally awesome. This card is great. Gets you back resources. It's a negation. Incredible. Can summon out a swap during your opponent's turn in their standby. Great card. One number 37, Hope Woven. This is a German one. I don't even know if you can tell. I don't know why I got a German one. I just did. I saw it and I was like, yeah, I'll take it. So number 37, this guy, basically when any attack is declared, you can detach a material, and all monsters your opponent controls lose 1,000 attack. So this can help you go in against certain boards that you wouldn't be able to OTK against otherwise. And then if it dies, you just get to Monster Reborn a card out of your graveyard. Like this card, I used to play this card a lot in Mermails, and I'm really happy I'm playing it again, because with Aqua Spirit and Undying, Launcher, like you can make so many more rank 4s now. Like I really like this card, especially playing Quandax. Since Quandax is a water, you can use that for Xyz material. I just love this card. It's so underrated. I used this card so many times last night on stream to be able to put on like tons of damage, and then they had to worry about it floating again, and that's something if they didn't want that to happen, they just had to worry about using Nightmare Unicorn or something on it, and then just gets that out of the way. One Dweller. So those are the only rank 4s I'm playing, just Dweller and the Hope Woven. I cut Bahamut because I found myself rather just summoning this off the swaps themselves and then using any other rank 4s I would do go into these, because they're just better. And same thing with the OC play. I would just use the rank 4 play to either go into these or just link stuff. So yeah, that's it for the rank 4s and the rank 2. One Gaios and one Big Eye. This is also my brother's. Thanks for letting me borrow it. So yeah, one Big Eye and one Gaios. I wasn't playing the Big Eye for the longest time. I still don't know about this card. I'm still not 100% sure. I still might prefer Red Eyes Flare better for cinching out games, just by burn damage. I still really like that safety net, and it may not come up a lot, but the times it does, it wins you games you wouldn't be able to win otherwise, which is why I really, really like Red Eyes Flare. But I wanted to experiment with the Big Eye just because of the Thunder Dragon matchup. Just because if I can take a Colossus and it can let me play, then I'm in a much better position, and that's all I really wanted to sort of deal with. And then one, True King of All Calamities. You're pretty much best going first card. You don't need no Phantom Knight, Orcus stuff, none of that crap. You just need this card. Or Gaios Toad, or Trish Moulin. Like, it's just... His card is just stupid strong. Like, this deck should not be able to make this card. His card is just busted. Make it against Salmon Greats going first, call fire. What do they do? Make it against Danger decks, call dark. What do they do? Like, they just pass. And even if you didn't open up that well and you were still able to get into this card, you're just buying yourself 2 turns to eventually kill them. I've had games where I had to link away a Moulin to make this play even better. So I could get like a Saryuja out, and I had to link away the Moulin, but it was to get me into this card. And I lost my battle phase next turn, but this card bought me 2 turns because they didn't scene out to it via Kaiju. And it just won me the game. I was able to draw into some better cards, and it just won me the game outright. So that is it for the profile. All right, so for this quick little play, Basically, you just need Undyne and Aqua Spirit with like any water in your graveyard. So I'll just use like a swap as an example. Let's say you put a swap in your grave earlier, whatever. That's like really all you need, because launcher requires any other monster in its graveyard other than itself. So basically, all you do is you summon Undyne, send this, add controller, and then you will use launcher's effect to summon himself back out, synchro into your Quandax. Where he is, there he is, and I had to summon him out in defense, just up there in the extra monster zone, and then you can use, this would be banished also. So the launcher would be banished, and then you summon the Aqua Spirit by banishing the Undyne or the other water that's in your grave, whatever it may be. And then during your opponent's turn, you can quick effect like Formula Synchron, synchro these two into a white or a whale, just like that. And then all of their attack position monsters get destroyed. And then you minimally have 3 chances at reviving this card. You have 1, 2, 3 at a minimum in your graveyard to be able to revive this 3 freaking times. It comes out at 2800, and some people aren't going to expect this. They're going to leave their monsters in attack position, and they're going to lose those monsters to the whale, because you're going to be having a whale of a time. But yeah, that's going to be it for this deck profile. I know you guys have been waiting and waiting for the new profile ever since the 2 test stand videos I uploaded. I appreciate the patience. I appreciate the support. I hope you guys enjoy this in-depth profile. Probably went really long, but I wanted to do that so I could get all the thoughts out, all that stuff, explain everything that some people might not understand. Hope you guys enjoyed. As always, Winterkill signing out. We'll see you in the next one. And don't forget to check out Imperium. Follow me on Twitch and join Discord as well. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. We'll see you next time.